Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be learning how to create this photo manipulation with the images within the camera. This is quite an easy technique to learn and a good technique. You can create your own images and manipulations and basically break the boundaries of graphics and enhance your designs. Let's get straight into it. So first thing you're going to do is get your image. So once you are presented with this image, by the way, I'll leave all the images in the section below, comment section below, just so you can do the same as me. Once you've got your image, you're going to want to get your shape tool. Now this is the starting point. You're going to get your shape tool, you're going to change your color to black and white, and then you're going to draw a shape over the top of the lens. Now this is key. You don't want to hold shift for this. You just want to make sure you cover the lens and cover each area so it's basically the same shape overall. So as you can see, I've covered the lens, I've got my shape, it's covering pretty much all the lens. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Like that. So I've got that, and then I'm going to go to the right and convert it to a smart object. This is key. You'll have to do this, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so once you've done that, you got your convert smart object, you got your ellipse tool. Let's change this to lens 1 just so we can remember that. The next bit that you're gonna need to do is get your image. So I've already got the images here. I'm going to just unlock it and I'm going to drag it over to our image here, and I'm going to place it above it. Now the next thing you're going to need to do is make it the right size for your circle. So I'm going to shrink it a little bit. That should be about right, and then I'm going to create a clipping mask. Now see, as you can see, it's inside the lens. Just by doing that little bit of work, we have already created half of our manipulation. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, maybe make it a bit wider, bring the C in a bit more, just something like that. And then you can see we have our manipulation on the first lens. There's one more thing you're going to need to do, and that is adding a shadow onto the lens. So you're going to want to select your circle, then you're going to need to go to select and then load selection. Now you've got this, just comes up with the name of the lens and stuff, and you just click OK. Now it's selected it. Next thing you're going to need to do is create a new layer, and then get your paintbrush tool, get a soft brush, 0% hardness, as big as you need it to be. Be not too big because you don't need this to overflow on the design. And then go around the edges, just paint the black in. By doing this, you are creating a shadow and basically an effect which will make it look like this is inside the camera. As you can see, I've gone quite dark here, but if I just go to my opacity on the right and reduce it, it's as if it was never there. But if I make it about 50%, we have a nice, oh sorry, I didn't mean to do that. We have a nice shadowed effect on the image. I can also add a layer, a levels layer, just so I can maybe enhance the light a bit. Bring the whites in, bring the darks in as well. By doing this, I am able to create a custom manipulation. Now, should we move on to the next level? Before I do move on to the next lens, I'm going to hold all of these layers and I'm going to group them. And then I'm going to call this lens 1. This is just good practice and a good way of keeping your images intact. So I'm going to do the same as I did last time. I'm going to create my circle just to cover the image, and then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit big on this side as well, and then I'm going to hold shift just so I can warp it into the position I need it to be in. It won't look perfect because it's not meant to, it's a manipulation. It's meant to be your own version. So that lens is going to cover that. And then what I'm going to need to do is get my next image, which is this one. And I'm gonna just convert to a normal layer, then drag it across, and then it's gonna go across there. Make it smaller. Remember, it needs to be the same size. I'm just gonna turn it off a second, and I'm gonna convert this to a smart object. Otherwise, remember, it won't work with the selection. Turn my layer on, and then I'm gonna create a clipping mask so I can adjust how I want the image to look, and so I know what is actually happening in the design. Because if you don't know what is going on, then you're not going to know how it's going to look with the final bit. So got that now. I'm going to create my new layer, which isn't going to be a clipping mask. Got my new layer, and I'm going to load my selection again. So select, load selection. Got that, and now we're going to go to our empty layer, get our brush tool again, and start painting our shadow in. And you can have it harsh on different sides. It depends how you want the shadow to look and how much you want it to affect the overall photo. I like quite a harsh shadow just so it looks like you're looking down onto the image and that it's inside the lens. And then if I bring the opacity down a bit, maybe a bit higher, about 70%. You can even add dark color, multiply, or anything else really, like overlay. That gives it quite a nice effect. It depends what you want it to look like. So if I go down to lens 1 now and I just change this to overlay, it might look a lot better. Just brings the colors together and makes it look like a more complete image. So I've done my lens 2. I'm just gonna do my levels now. If I go down here and get levels, and if I bring the whites up a bit, actually I need to make sure it's clipped to the to this layer. So just go down and then click that button, it'll clip it to that circle. Bring the lights up, bring the darks out a bit more, and as you can see, we've got a nice bit of color within the middle. This is a good bit of practice. And then select all of them, group them. This is going to be lens 2. Now we're going to move on to our next one. It's going to be start off with another circle, and then we're going to manipulate the circle so it fits the lens. I'm going to keep the writing just so it like keeps a bit of the lens like camera effect. That should be big enough. As you can see all the writing. It's not affecting anything. You got the writing here and here. I've probably cut it off here. Maybe I shouldn't have, but it's up to you really what you want the image to look like. So if I go to here, convert to smart object, get rid of that. Converted that to a smart object. Now I need to go to my next image, which is not in my Finder. It is over here. I'm going to drag, drop to the top, make it a lot smaller so I can see the ocean. And then once you got it over the top, create clipping mask. You're going to minimize it, something like that. That looks quite nice. Quite bright image, this one. Then we are going to create our new layer. Select load selection, our selection circle again. Select our new layer, select paintbrush, and we'll just start in our shadows again. Doing this, look, it already has just changed the image a little bit. Made it look as if we're looking down on it, taking away all that lightness. Which sometimes it isn't a good thing. You don't want too much of this, but just reduce the opacity a bit to about 70. Really nice image there. I deselect, Command D for deselect. Got that now. If I go up just here and I click levels and clip it and bring the darks out a bit more, lights up a bit more, and move the levels along a bit, I've got 3 really nice images. You can see it didn't take me too long to create. Take you longer, it might take you a bit of trial and error, but stick with it because it's really easy. We're going to group all of these. It's going to be lens 3. Now I've got that. Now what we need is, oh actually I forgot to change the shadow to overlay. Now it looks a lot better. Got all that. Now the next thing we want to do is create some color balancing. So first one you're going to want to choose is color lookup. Go to the strip here and then go down to free strip. Adds a bit of whiteness. Next thing you're going to want to add is some color balance. Maybe just bring the reds in. It depends on this is like personal preference. Depends what you really want. I'm going to sort of go for a blue tone, and the highlights maybe just a little bit of blue as well. That'll do for the color balance. The next thing you're going to want to choose is vibrance. Bring up the saturation a bit, bring the vibrance down a bit, and the last one you're going to need to choose is I can't find it now. The last one you're going to want to choose is brightness and contrast. Bring the contrast up a bit, actually bring it down a bit, just so you don't lose some of the image. And then over the top of this, we're going to create a new layer. This is going to be an overlay layer, and then we're going to go to edit, fill, and then click 50% gray. Perfect. Then go to filter, camera raw filter, and then increase our grain on the effects and bring that up a little bit. Increase the grain again. And then once we've got our camera raw filter, we want to go to our adjustments and click overlay. And as you can see, we have created a really nice photo manipulation there, and it looks quite clean and the colors match quite well. The camera's getting lost a bit here, so if you want to turn some of the color balancing off or stuff like that, you can turn them off if it looks different. I quite like it without the color lookup, but then I might like it more with different ones. It's trial and error for your color corrections, but depending on what you want to use, it's up to you. So if I name that color correction, now as you can see, we've got all our groups in a layer and all our layers in a group, and this is going to be our second manipulation for the montage, and that's pretty much all you need to know. If you want to export it, you just need to go File, Export, Quick Export as a PNG, and it will export as a PNG. That's about it. That's a nice quick tutorial on how to manipulate an image and how to get the best out of your photos. I hope you guys have learned something today, and I hope it's been a successful tutorial for all of you. I'd like to hear in the comments if you've tried it or attempted it. That would be great. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.